Okay, hi, it's Jen, Janine, and Felicity, and we have just had another awesome Zoom session with the Ready Together group. And so we're doing our weekly wrap up to just give a rundown of what happened to those who didn't make it into the group. So we were talking about the fourth trimester for mums. And we often focus on what's happening for the baby. There is a huge amount happening for the baby, and we talk about the baby a lot. But we really wanted to dedicate this week and this chat to what's happening for our mums. We've got healing, and Felicity, I want to touch back on the dinner plate.
Oh, yes. So when the placenta comes away, it leaves an open wound, but because it's hidden, people don't realise, and we don't talk about the bleeding. We don't talk about that. It's not like you go up to the shops and go to somebody, oh, hey, I'm losing a lot of blood every day. So that would be weird if we did that. But certainly it would. It would. But we also,
you made that if that wound was visible and on the outside.
That's the thing, if you're walking around with an obvious wound this big, as over the days and the weeks, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But initially, you look at the size of your placenta, and that was on your body, and it's come away. And so losing that, it's a process and it takes time. And I think if we walked around with an obvious wound, that people would be more understanding and more accepting that we need time to heal, and we need help, and we need to take things slowly. So when you've had a Caesar, they say don't drive for 6 weeks, and most of the time people don't, mums don't wait those 6 weeks. They might wait a couple of weeks, but I think would be great if we had a sign on us saying open wound.
Really, having the baby on us should be the sign.
Yeah, it should.
People need to think about that, and you're so right.
Yeah, and we sort of touched on how in some other cultures, you absolutely would prioritize that time. In Chinese cultures, and and in the past, I think when you look at previous generations, women did rest for longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
In society, we've gotten less good. We're very quick, and we touched on that pressure to be out at the boot camp in the skinny jeans, hosting people. Maybe look like Janine. You talk about, you look the same.
Yes, you look the same, but you're not the same. So sometimes, because I think we were talking about visitors and having people come and visit, which is lovely, but sometimes that can be very tiring. And so if for the mums they're feeling it's overwhelming, then the mum should remove herself from the room, because sometimes it's hard to ask people to leave. So acknowledging that you're healing and that you're tired, and once the visitors have gone, you've still got this baby here that is going to take your time and energy, and you're making milk and you're healing and and no matter how you've
incredible amount, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we kind of touched on some really great tips for looking after ourselves, and I loved we got some really fantastic input from the women in the group. And one person in particular really pointed out how much harder it can be to do that self-care and to get those breaks when you have a tricky baby. So a baby maybe that's got reflux, or a baby that doesn't settle so well. And I think we all know, an easy baby that people are happy to help you with is quite a different picture and story to a very unsettled baby. And it's a really hard one, because you need those breaks and you need that care even more when you have that difficult baby, and yet it can be harder to get the help. And this particular mum, her top tip was pay someone. So if you do have that tricky baby and family's not so helpful, or they're not giving the right advice, accepting that we're not made to do this alone, and maybe paying a doula or a professional or even a babysitter to help with the older child, doing what you can to prioritize you and fit that oxygen mask. That was her tip, and I loved that.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
And I think
really important.
Not trying to achieve the spa day or the a break, this me time, and being at the cafe or going out for a walk may actually be setting the bar too high, and then having almost giving yourself permission to have that little nest on the couch, and that Bub has a sleep on your chest, and you put your feet up and watch Netflix, and that knowing that that can also be me time, and that
absolutely
different for everybody. And if that's what makes you feel relaxed, for others they want to put the baby somewhere else and have a physical break so they're not being touched out. But it looks different for everybody, and just acknowledging that I am actually having a break now, this is my little rest period of time, can be helpful in itself.
Recharge your batteries.
And we talked about how even just, I mean, both you and I, Felicity, had felt the shower was such good respite after a baby. I talked about my high-end body wash. That was my treat to myself with every baby. I thought I'm really going to treasure that body wash and that nice moisturizer. I can't get to have a massage for a while. It's just too hard. It almost felt like more hassle to create that to happen. So I would focus on just having a really nice body wash and treating myself. And someone else in the group said, buy yourself that active wear that fits you. Don't keep squeezing into those clothes that don't fit the new you. And I loved that one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So that was really good. And we also touched on communication, that as women, we are kind of often, we are good at pleasing. We're not as good at sort of prioritizing our basic needs even. We are more likely to hold on to and put our baby first than our partners often are. And so we just talked about just starting to think about that. That's not a luxury, doing UE. It's a necessity. And looking after those basic needs and thinking, yep, I am just going to do this. And it's putting that first and trying to do that a little bit, and communicating with your partner. We talked about choosing the right moment and getting your guy or other partner on board with what you need, and letting them know, hey, I feel like I'm heading towards a crash. This is the kind of break I need, or this is the kind of support I need. And that might be a physical thing they do for you, like Felicity, pick up the poo bags, or make you a coffee, or it might be allowing you to have that physical break. But often we're not so good at telling people what we want and need, or telling friends we want that meal. And it takes practice, and it's vulnerable to ask, but you get better and better at it. And the more you do, the better everybody feels, because it's a two-way street, isn't it? When people feel part of the process, everybody feels better.
And I think do it at the moment, in that moment as well, because then it boosts that relationship as well. If you're trying to settle that little baby, or your partner's settling the baby, and saying, I really need you to take the baby right now, and checking in terms of how are you going, are you okay? Because sometimes if people come in and take over, that can make you feel even in a way like, I can't even settle my own baby. So getting into that practice of saying, just checking in, hey, are you all right? Do you need any help, or do you want me to, what can I do for you right now, kind of thing. Can be really helpful as well.
And then the final thing we touched on really was kind of dads, and that leads me in a lovely little way into what's coming up in Ready Together. So soon we're going to be talking to a couple of really good dad experts, because dads also suffer from postnatal depression, and we just know from our work that we all do, that when a dad gets included and involved in the right ways, it's just so fantastic, and they've got such a critical role to play. And Janine, I loved what you said about them playing that, was it protector or
the advocate? And a protector, and one, it's really important. And I find that in the birth space as well, when a couple are able to be a couple, and the partner is able to hold space and feel like the protector, it's just wonderful for them. The mum they're a superstar in the mum's eyes, and in their own, they're like, okay, I can help. I'm making a difference. And the more they do, and the more they do, and then you communicate, and then you sort of have this lovely togetherness, and it's really important.
And often they feel less confident at first because they've probably just had less experience and exposure to little babies. So they might be less confident, but the more we give them those opportunities, and it doesn't have to be a whole day at first, it can just be, like we said, 10 minutes, but the more opportunities they get where they're just left to work it out their way, and we support that, and we say, great job, honey, and try not to criticize the nappy on backwards. I think that the more involved they get, and that's a good thing, because it's better as a team, right?
Oh yeah, I see it all the time. It's awesome.
Okay. All right, thanks, girls. Till next week. We again thank you so much to the guys that joined us. We just loving seeing your beautiful babies as well. We saw some beautiful faces, and we're watching them grow, which is just gorgeous. Yeah. We had one brand new baby in the group today that was born last week, and just seeing that process happen, we feel really privileged to be part of this process with you all. So thank you very much.
So grateful.
Bye.
Bye. See you.